Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. It's the next day now, the day Greg plans to begin shooting film for Mary and Harry's television special. And a few hundred yards from their base camp in the Transvaal, Greg is giving last-minute instructions to the cast and crew as we...
Now, what we're going to do here at the opening is I'm going to take a long shot of the mountain range there in the back.
Right.
And then I'm going to slowly pan down to the near bush here.
Yeah.
And then pan across to you, Harry, and you, Mary. And then I want you, Calvin, and Pop, you to be kneeling in front of Mary and Harry. And I want all four of you waving at the camera.
Be kind of like a group picture in home movies, won't it?
I don't want that home movie look at all.
No, but I mean the way we were positioned there.
No, I want this to be a very professional-looking thing. Remember, this is going to be a television special.
Right, and this will be the opening, and the titles, of course, will be super on the film of us.
I'm planning to have this thing scheduled for Thanksgiving evening.
Good.
And everybody, I figure, in America will be watching the backstages in Africa.
Yeah, I like to sit down and watch TV after a big Thanksgiving Day dinner.
Now, let me see again now. You say you're going to take a shot of the mountains out back there. Then you're going to shoot the woods here, and then pan across to the four of us. Pop and I are on our knees, and we're all waving at the camera. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
And do we say anything, Greg, like, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, happy Thanksgiving to you from the backstage?
Well, we can dub that in later.
Yeah, I think so.
But you can mouth it if you want.
All right, I'll do that.
All right, let me just get this camera here in focus.
All right, we'll go get in position. We can have a dry run.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll kneel down right here.
And I'll be right here. And I'll stand here. And then you'll be there, Harry, right?
I never realized be as noisy as this out here in the Transvaal.
Okay, I'm going to start shooting now.
All right. Tell the crew to quiet down, Greg.
This is as quiet as I can get.
All right.
Action. I just told myself action. Now I'm filming.
Smile, Mary, when he brings the camera down.
Now I'm slowly panning down to the woods. Now I'm slowly panning across over.
What was that? Oh, sounded like a shot ringing out.
My hat. Someone threw my hat.
A bullet went through your hat. Look,
what is
look
this?
At the hole right in that side and out the other.
Hey!
Cut, Greg.
Cut! Hold it. What happened?
Tell yourself to cut, Mr. Marlowe.
What happened? Hey.
Someone shot at us. Went right through Calvin's hat. If he hadn't been wearing a tall hat, might have gone through his head.
Look what went through my hat.
You're not wearing any hat, Mary. Well, she was wearing that little bandana. Knocked it off her head. Yeah. Would be... No, that's getting too close. Went through my blazer.
I think we all better hit the dust. Let me figure out what this is.
What do you mean by that, Greg?
I mean, we're sitting pigeons here. As long as we stand around talking this way, whoever is sniping at us is bound to...
I'm down on the dust. Yeah, I'm down, too.
I'm down, too.
Now, let's crawl back to the base camp. Maybe we can get in.
I have these high heels on.
Well, kick them off, Mary. Our safety is more important. Hurry up.
Okay, that's all the filming for today.
And so, the first day of shooting of the Mary and Harry Backstage television safari has met with troubles. Who is firing the shots at them? Be sure and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Greg say,
Oh, it's you.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. Cordial welcome again to the Bob and Ray Public Service feature, Views Behind the Views, Behind the People, Behind the News. And this gentleman with me, learned gentleman, I should say, is Mr. Hubert C. Waxford. He's prepared to shed light on one of the really great problems of our time. Mr. Waxford is chairman of the Farsighted Planners for Urban Renewal. I assume, sir, that you call yourself Farsighted Planners because your members all wear thick spectacles like those you have on?
No, that's not correct at all, Mr. Elliott. Actually, I'm very nearsighted, but my urban planning is farsighted.
Well, I don't know how you manage that, but I understand you put forth a number of new theories on urban renewal from your office in Washington.
I did have an office in Washington, but it was torn down on the recommendation of another urban renewal planner.
Well, in any event, I guess we can...
I'll get him for that, too. It's the last thing I ever do. Yeah, he turned my office into a parking lot for his office.
Well, I've heard that urban renewal creates some innocent victims. I guess you'd be one of those, huh?
Urban renewal does not need to create innocent victims, Mr. Elliott. I'm afraid our work has gotten that reputation because planners in many cities started out by tearing down slums. And, of course, slum dwellers are the ones who have the most trouble finding a new place to live that they can afford.
Well, I can appreciate that. But how can you renew an urban area without getting rid of the slums?
Oh, you do that eventually. But first, the modern, expensive apartment buildings should all be destroyed. And then low-cost public housing is put up to replace those. And, of course, that gives slum dwellers a place to move before you tear down the slums.
Oh, that sounds like far-sighted urban planning, all right. Well, what becomes of the people who live in those modern, expensive buildings that are the first to be torn down?
Well, my group isn't terribly concerned about what happens to them. They've got plenty of money, so they can move to another city or put their furniture in storage while they take a round-the-world cruise or something. There's a number of options open to them.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, of course, there are other forms of urban blight besides substandard housing, right?
Well, I might also mention that my group is concerned with other forms of urban blight besides substandard housing. Take old warehouses, for example.
You favor replacing them with new warehouses on the outskirts of cities to help cut down on truck traffic, right?
Oh, I never considered that idea, but I'm sure I would have rejected it if I had. No, you see, it's my theory that we don't need warehouses at all anymore. And most of the food we eat now is processed, so it won't spoil if it's just piled up in the sun in vacant lots.
Well, what happens when it rains?
Well, urban planners can't control the weather. If a city is located in a damp climate, there's not much anybody can do about that.
No, I guess that was foolish of me to expect you people to do the impossible.
That's right. Now, for instance, I recently calculated that Tucson, Arizona could become a city of 1 million if it had a good harbor on the Pacific Ocean, but would have to tear down San Diego and replace it with Tucson to do that. However, I'm hoping that some of the people who had to move away when we tore all the buildings down may eventually come back. If they do, they'll find that it's much better planned than it used to be.
Well, I'm sure that's true, and you've given us all a better understanding of how you improve communities by destroying them, Mr. Waxford.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us today on this edition of Views Behind the Views, behind the people, behind the news.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Yesterday, as Greg Marlowe prepared to shoot the first scenes for Mary and Harry's TV special on Africa, 3 shots rang out and bullets narrowly missed our friends. Now, moments later, at the backstage base camp in the Transvaal, Greg calls out,
Who did that?
Mr. Marlowe?
Yes.
It's me.
Oh, the cook. What were you doing?
I'm very sorry. I was trying to shoot that springbok for your dinner.
Springbok.
Springbok for dinner? What's that?
Springbok fall forward, isn't it?
No, you don't understand. The springbok is that animal and very delicious, too, but very fast. He ran behind you as you were shooting the opening scenes.
You hit me, or you hit my scarf, and you put one through his hat. Yeah, well, right through my
Went
hat.
right through my red and white blazer, too.
Yeah, we almost had a catastrophe on our hands. Don't you have practice this common care when you use a rifle?
Oh, most certainly, Mr. Marlowe, and I can only express my sincere apologies for having the bullets go where they did.
Did you get the springbark?
No, I didn't, so I've got to continue hunting, but I'll wait until you finish the opening scene if you want to shoot it again.
Well, I'll have to. Okay, let's try that scene again.
Oh, well,
Put that rifle up, will you?
Yes, I will, sir.
Thank you very much.
Let's brush all this dust off us. We had to hit the ground when those shots rang out.
Shall I still wear that hat with the hole in it tomorrow? No, let's everybody take off hats. No need to have hats on in this picture. And no dark glasses either.
All right.
See?
Mary, you composed now?
Well, yes. I'm wondering what a springbark would taste like. That's what concerns me.
Well, you may get to try some tonight if he has any luck.
It's probably gamey. Probably has a gamey taste.
Well, you have to rely on the animals around here to keep our meals coming.
Well, I'm a vegetarian, I think, now that I'm here in Africa. I'd just soon eat just plain lettuce. Well, whatever.
Are you going to shoot the scene the same way, Greg? You're going to start with the background and
Yeah, we'll
pan
try
down?
the same thing again.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll shoot the big mountain backdrop there.
Yeah, right.
Then I'll slowly pan down and pick up the woods immediately back of the camp. And then I'll dolly in here and get a close-up of you. And I want you all smiling and waving at the camera.
Right.
You sure you want to do that? Because...
does look like whole movie.
Yeah,
Marlowe,
that's what I was going to say. Why, what do you mean?
Well, it just looks like kind of amateur night in West Newton, we used to say.
You don't think that would make a good opening shot?
I think it should be a little more formal,
Listen, who's producing this anyway? It's
Well, you're
Mr.
right.
Marlowe.
That's right, Mary.
And I don't think we'll get anywhere if we keep giving him advice like this. He knows what he's doing. He's produced successful shows before.
That's true.
He wants us smiling and waving at the camera, then that's what we must do.
That's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to smile.
Okay, I'll do it, but it certainly will look like, whole movies.
All right. Well, tell us when you begin, Greg.
Okay. Quiet. Action. I just told myself action. Now camera's running. I'm filming. I'll describe what I'm doing to you. I'm filming the backdrop, the mountain.
Get ready to smile, Mary.
What?
Get ready to smile.
Now I'm slowly panning down to the forest and back of the camp. Now I'm dollying in, and you can start to smile and wave.
Hey, do you hear what I hear?
Cut it. Cut it. I just had to tell myself to cut.
It's a lion, Greg.
Well, so what? That's part of the charm of doing a movie here in Africa.
But he's heading through the jungle toward us. See him right behind you.
Uh-oh.
And so, Greg's and Mary's and Harry's television special seems to be destined for failure. But you ought to be here tomorrow when we'll hear Greg say,
Why, that lion's name is Scheherazade.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble One. Word Carr speaking. Here with us today is Dr. Harvey Nitzmog, and you're the technical advisor, Doctor, on the show entitled Rudolph Flamm, M.D.
Yes, that's correct. Your listeners may not have heard of the show because it's not seen in this country. We show some stuff that's a little too, sticky for the American audience.
I see.
So our only outlet at the present time is over in Africa.
And you have a big following there, I guess, huh?
Well, not yet, but if they ever get a television station, I'm sure we will.
Undoubtedly. Now, about your new show, Rudolph Flamm, M.D., what's the central character specialty? Is he a general practitioner like Marcus Welby or what?
Well, no, I think he's an Episcopalian, Mr. Elliott. But I don't dabble in his private life. I'm just the technical advisor.
Well, I know you already established that before we started.
Well, don't blame me for that. If you keep asking the same questions, you're going to keep getting the same answers. I take my hypocritical oath seriously.
I'm sure you do, sir. I wonder if you'd tell us just exactly what a doctor does when he serves as a technical advisor on a medical show like this.
He collects $400 a week.
No, I mean beside that.
Well, the main thing he does is check the script to be sure it's not unmedical. Like you take a while back, the producer came to me and asked if it was possible for a person to get a broken arm.
What did you tell him?
Well, I said that in my opinion, if the character fell down or ran into something, it was possible.
So the script went through okay, huh?
No, the way the writer had it, the guy didn't fall down or run into anything. He was standing around and got a broken arm.
Oh, the thing had to be rewritten to make it accurate, huh?
Yeah, they changed it, they changed it from a broken arm to the chicken pox.
Uh-huh.
I checked my medical books, and you don't have to fall down or do anything like that to get the chicken pox.
Well, that must have made an entirely different story then, huh?
No, not particularly. You see, on Rudolph Flem, M.D., the main character doesn't have a license to practice, so he just looks the patients over, he charges them $10, and then sends them to a specialist. And that way, the stories all have a happy ending, because the audience never finds out whether the patient is really sick or not.
Well, why do they need a technical advisor on a show with plots like that?
Well, it's kind of a specialized thing on our show. You see, I don't have a license to practice either, and they figure it takes one quack to advise another one.
Uh-huh. Well, in that case, I can only say that I'm terribly sorry we invited you to be with us today.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about asking me back.
That's true.
I'm under indictment right now, and I probably won't be able to come back anyway.
Very good. Thanks for taking our valuable time anyway, Doctor.
Thank you.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway.
It's moments after yesterday's episode now as Greg Marlowe, shooting the opening of the Backstage's African TV special, hears the roar of a lion behind him, and Mary calls out,
I'm scared.
Yes, I am too, Greg. What shall we do, run?
Stoke, stand still.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Stand right where we are.
You don't want to run. That'll only upset the animal.
Mr. Marlowe,
Yes, sir?
it's me, Henry the cook.
Yes, Henry.
Is that? Yes, that's Scheherazade, that lion. You don't need to be afraid of her.
That's who?
Scheherazade.
Scheherazade?
Scheherazade.
Scheherazade, what's that?
Scheherazade, what's that?
Why, it's a trained lion. It's been in these parts for quite some time. See the little tag around its neck?
Oh, yeah, it says, I'm Scheherazade, I'm tame. Pet me.
Hello, Scheherazade. It's me, Henry the cook.
Why, that's a big pussycat, actually.
Hey, we got kind of a mascot to help us out on our special.
Oh, hello there, pussycat. How are you? Here, shake hands.
I don't know whether lions shake or not, Calvin.
Dogs do, you know. Dogs will put out their paw and shake.
Yes.
Shake hands,
A little
Scheherazade.
more than a dog, though.
Yeah. What do you suppose this critter weighs?
Henry, do you know whether Scheherazade has any teeth?
No, it has no teeth.
1,300 pounds. Boy, they're big cats.
You hear that, Mary? She has no teeth, even. Henry tells me.
No teeth.
No teeth.
How can she eat?
Well, I don't know. I cut up her food for her whenever she's around the cook tent.
Oh, that's it. Then you make small little bite-sized pieces for her.
That's right, and she seems to enjoy that. And then sometimes I give her that stuff that makes gravy.
Oh.
She likes that, too.
And I suppose you can give her soft gruel or milk toast, too.
Yes, sometimes I do. Hello, Scheherazade. It's me, Henry.
Oh, he gets along nicely with that big lion.
Strangest thing I've ever thought of, to come across a lion in the African jungle and have it a table.
Hey, look, I have a wonderful, wonderful shot right here. You, Henry, with your arm around Scheherazade.
Yes?
You, Pop, standing just to the left of Henry.
Right.
Mary, Harry, and you, Calvin, all come over towards the lion's head. And I'll get a nice photograph of the whole
What
thing.
an opening this will be, Greg,
Look,
huh?
let me just stand back a little bit, get this all in focus.
How lucky we were to come across a tamed lion.
Should we talk to the lion and wave like you suggested before?
Sure, that'll look more natural, Greg, won't it?
No, I want you all this time to be registering fear, as though you're holding a wild animal. Wait a minute, that's not exactly telling the truth, is it?
No, it isn't.
No,
Mr.
that
Marlowe.
wouldn't be the truth. We all know this is a big tame pussycat, and we stand here looking like we're frightened, then we're not actually pictorially telling the truth.
No, I don't think I could play a scene like that, Greg. That's more acting
No.
ability than I have.
I was going to say, you're an actor. You can feign fear, can't you?
Well, I know, but we're supposed to be telling the truth about the African transvaal here.
Well, this is just an attention-getting device that we'll use at the head of the show.
Well, I don't know.
Well, let me try it this way. All kind of look scared.
What if it ever leaked out that this was a tame lion and not a wild one like you want it to look?
Well, who would tell about it? Who was to talk about it?
Well, I don't know.
Who would say it's important?
Most of the crew here know that it's a tame lion. By now, they see us petting it.
But nowhere have we said that this is a wild animal. We're just registering fear. Let's imagine that we hadn't been told that Scheherazade was tame. You see? Approach it that way.
I don't know, Greg. It doesn't seem to be playing the game to me.
Well, okay.
But I'll go through with it.
No, we'll do it straight. Let's play it like it's a tame animal. Pretty dull opening. Oh!
And so, filming begins again with Scheherazade, the tame lion, playing a part. And you want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin expostulate.
No, she's got teeth all right.
That's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking.
We invite you to spend another educational session with the idol of the nation's youngsters, Mr. Science. As we look in on the modern, well-equipped laboratory today, we see that little Jimmy Schwab is just arriving to watch Mr. Science perform his latest fascinating experiment.
Well, Jimmy, I see you're right on time to watch me perform my latest fascinating experiment.
Oh, I'm never late since you taught me that scientific way to use a clock, Mr. Science. What fascinating experiment do I get to behold today?
Well, today, Jimmy, we're going to use our laboratory equipment to prove that even the air around us has weight and substance.
Gosh, all hemlock, Mr. Science. That's hard to believe. I have air pushing down on the top of my head most of the time, and I don't feel a thing.
Well, that's because we're all accustomed to the pressure, Jimmy. But we're actually going to see scientific evidence of how much the air weighs.
Jiminy crickets, Mr. Science. How can I see the weight of the air when I can't even see the air?
Well, I know it sounds like an impossible marvel, Jimmy, but once we've performed today's experiment, you'll see what you always thought was invisible. Now, to prove that the air has weight, I'm going to use this laboratory equipment to drop a feather and a ball bearing from an equal height.
Gee, willikers, Mr. Science. What's that piece of laboratory equipment you're preparing to employ by climbing up on?
This is called a stepladder, Jimmy.
Holy suffering catfish. Wait till I tell the gang at school I've seen one of those.
Well, I know this is the thrill of a lifetime for you, lad, but just try to contain yourself, because the best part is yet to come. Now, I'm going to climb up our stepladder with the feather and the ball bearing.
Great clouds of wagon dust. This may be more excitement than my youthful system can tolerate.
Oh, no, I'm sure you'll be fine, Jimmy. Now, just observe what happens when I drop the ball bearing to the floor of the laboratory from a height of approximately 10 feet.
Jeepers creepers, Mr. Science. It just dropped straight down, as if the air it passed through had no weight or substance whatsoever.
Uh-huh. I know it did look that way, but only because the ball bearing is very small in proportion to its weight. Now watch what the feather does when I release it from exactly the same height.
Oh, holy Ned, Mr. Science. It's almost floating in the air, and it's hardly coming down at all.
That's right, Jimmy, because the weight and substance of the air is holding it up. You see, if air really consisted of nothing the way it appears, then all objects would drop through it at the same speed.
Golly Moses, such a wonder to behold. I'm going to see if the weight of the air will keep this box from falling when I hold it over my head and drop it.
No, don't drop that box, Jimmy. It's highly volatile.
No, it's not. It's just cardboard. So it won't even break, even if it does drop like a ball bearing.
That's beside the point. Leave the box alone.
Don't worry. I'll just hold it this high and then let go to see if it... This session with Mr. Science was brought to you as a public service, paid for by the Philanthropic Council to make things nicer. Today's broadcast was the last in our current series.
Hi there, boys and girls. Let's all come to order for another meeting of the Charlie Chipmunk Club. And here to read you today's Charlie Chipmunk story is your old friend, Uncle Edgar.
Thank you, Bob. And hello, boys and girls. For today's story, let's all turn to page 21 of this month's issue of the Charlie Chipmunk Club magazine. And right up there at the top,
I sure hope you kids have forced Mommy or Daddy to get out the family checkbook and renew your subscription to the Charlie Chipmunk Club magazine. If not, better hurry while the price is still only $8.75 for 12 big issues. Now back to Uncle Edgar.
Thank you. And now there in the first panel, children, we see that Charlie Chipmunk has gathered his friends together, and they're discussing plans to issue their very own newspaper for all the other forest animals to read.
Just notice that swell writing desk the little creatures have already obtained for their newspaper office, kids. Wouldn't you like to have something as keen as that in your room? Well, you can, because it's a genuine Charlie Chipmunk study desk, fashioned of high-grade plywood and reduced to junior size, just for you. Only $49.50 at Charlie Chipmunk furniture stores nationwide. Uncle Edgar?
Thanks. And now here in the next panel, boys and girls, we see that Charlie Chipmunk has been chosen editor of the Forest newspaper, and there's Gustav Groundhog, bringing in a big story for the front page.
How about that dandy felt hat with the brim turned up in front that Charlie's wearing, gang? It's just part of the authentic Charlie Chipmunk newspaper editor's costume that's recently been made available to the public for the first time. You get the hat, authentic Charlie Chipmunk sleeve protectors, and an official-looking press pass that may get you into a lot of shows and sporting events absolutely free. Yep, the price of the whole outfit is only $17.95. Get yours today, and now again, here's Uncle Edgar.
Well, now, Bob, you more or less promised before we went on the air today that you wouldn't keep horning in this often. Now, it makes it awfully hard for me to tell a story to the children so they can follow it, you know.
I just wanted the boys and girls to know about some of the great new products being offered by our wonderful sponsors, Uncle Edgar. I was sure you wouldn't mind, since these brief messages provide you with a nice fat paycheck. Will you continue, please?
Well, all right. Well, now, in the next picture, kids, there's Charlie Chipmunk using his little paws to type a story that's going into the very first issue of the newspaper. I'll bet you children never saw a chipmunk writing on a typewriter before, did you?
It's all made possible because that's a junior-size Charlie Chipmunk typewriter, boys and girls. The keyboard is specially designed to fit tiny fingers, and yet it contains nearly all the letters of the alphabet. And the price, a mere $59.95.
Look, Bob, I just can't get anywhere with all these interruptions. Now, you distinctly told me that we were only going to have one break for a commercial today. One.
Well, we haven't gotten to the commercial break yet, Uncle Edgar. These are just shopping tips I've been passing along to the youngsters.
Well, they sound like commercials to me. And there's just no way I can finish the story unless you stop butting in. That's all there is to it.
I think it's your complaints that are slowing down the program, more than my brief shopping reminders. So I'd suggest you stop being such a sorehead and just tell the story.
Well, I'm pretty burned up about the whole thing, but I'll try. Okay, now, in the next picture, gang, we see that all the little animals are watching the first edition of the newspaper come off the printing press.
And it's a genuine Charlie Chipmunk high-speed rotary press, of course, kids. Lets you print up to 50,000 copies an hour of anything you choose in black and white or full color. Yet it operates on ordinary house current and costs only $19,600. Have Daddy discuss financing terms with your local Charlie Chipmunk printing equipment dealer today.
Well, next we see the tiny forest creatures scampering around, delivering their papers.
Oh, I hate to interrupt, Uncle Edgar, but I'm afraid our time's about up for today.
Oh, for Pete's sake. This story's got a good ending, and I just know. I just couldn't get off again.
Be sure to join us for lots more fun and stories at the very next meeting of the Charlie Chipmunk Club, boys and girls.
Now, if you don't think I'm going to tell the authorities about what you're pulling off here, you've got another thing coming.
And kids, before we all rise and give the Charlie Chipmunk oath, here's Uncle Edgar to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Dr. Elmer Stapley, the word wizard. Dr. Stapley is one of the nation's outstanding authorities on the meaning and derivation of English words, and he drops by to answer questions that you listeners send in about our language and its correct use. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Well, Mr. Elliott, you're incredulated... Sorry?
I was going to ask if you're ready to tear into the first question.
Oh.
Here's one from a man in Staten Island, Doctor. He writes, I'm very confused because there's a highway sign near my home that says slow pedestrian crossing. Many times when I drive by, there aren't any pedestrians crossing at all, and even when there are, only a few of them could really be classified as slow pedestrians. I'm pretty peeved at the highway department for promising me an easy shot at slow pedestrians, then apparently failing to deliver. Do you agree that I have a legitimate squawk coming, or is there any possible way I could have misinterpreted the sign?
Well, the way the sign is phrased, it's just about as clairvoyant as they could make it. Now, I'd say the gentleman definitely has grounds for an illiterate complaint.
Well, I certainly can see how important the proper use of good grammar is, and I want to thank you for stopping by to offer your words of wisdom, Doctor.
Well, not at all. I found the experience thoroughly abominable.
I'm sure our listeners did, too. Hope they'll all join us again next time for another informative session with Dr. Elmer Stapley, the Word Wizard. Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife. The story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. Yesterday, after they discovered that the lion, which interrupted the shooting of the opening of their TV special on Africa, was really a tame animal, our friends returned to work. Now, moments later, Greg Marlowe is prepared to try a third time to shoot the opening of the special TV.
And I think your suggestion that we play it as though it was Tame Lion is a good, valid one, and I think it will work.
Oh, I think it'll make us look human, Greg,
Right.
and be kind of a surprise at the opening of the show, too.
I think that's a nice idea because, you know, people like animals, but they like them better if they know they're tame.
And they wouldn't want to see a TV show in which the world-famous Broadway stars, Mary and Harry Backstage, were in any kind of danger.
No, that's right.
That's a good point.
And you know, you can transmit the feeling of danger to your audience, and if you're uncomfortable, they get uncomfortable, and next thing you know, they're turning channels.
That's right, and we don't want them to do that Thanksgiving evening.
We don't want them to do that, that's right.
Greg, have you definitely got this set for Thanksgiving? By that I mean, have you spoken to anyone at the network?
It hasn't been locked in, but I think it's firm enough for us to go ahead on that idea.
All right, come over here, Shahrazad. You're going to try the opening again.
Yeah,
huh?
I want you to, just be petting the animal and smiling and look like you're having a good time.
Sure, okay.
And then now look, do you see out back there, you see off in the distance that hole in the side of the hill?
Right.
Now, after you've petted the animal here at the beginning, and I wave like this, you see, then you'll all kind of turn and head out towards the hole in that hill.
What is that, some kind of a cave, do you think?
I don't know what it is, but I want you all to file into it when you get there, and I'll be filming all the way, okay?
All right, okay.
All right, now we're going to try the opening again.
Right.
Okay, Henry, would you run the sign, Henry?
Sure thing. The clapboards?
Yeah, please.
Right. I've got dinner already anyway.
All right.
Not going to have springbok like I thought you were.
What are we going to have for dinner?
Oh, it's kind of like hamburger.
Oh, all right.
All right, this will be scene 1, take 3. Action.
Okay, gang. Pet the animal.
Hello, Shahrazad.
You're not taking this down on tape, the voice part, are you? No. Just say anything you want.
Looks like we're having fun. Hello there, Shahrazad.
Oh, hello there, animal. How are you today?
Speak.
We're not going to have springbok for dinner, Shahrazad. We're going to have some kind of, like ground meat, according to Henry here.
Yeah, that'll be something that Shahrazad could eat, too, without
Should we
any
start to turn now, Greg? No, a little bit longer, petting the animal. Okay, now turn and start off through the brush.
Right.
And head for that small hole in the hill out there.
Right, that'll be a long shot.
Right.
Well, we're almost here, Mary.
Can he see us back there?
Let me see. Yes, wave to him. He's
waving.
filming. He's waving.
So, well, here we are at the mouth of this cave. I don't think I want to be the first one to go in.
Well, I don't think I do either. This is kind of spooky to see this. Look, there's a wooden frame, a frame of wooden beams over the opening, as if it were a doorway, kind of.
And it says private.
Wonder if someone lives in here, do you suppose?
Well, look, just for the purposes of the program, I don't think we could be violating any laws. It doesn't look like anybody's inhabiting it now.
Right.
Why don't we just walk in?
Just get inside so we're out of the picture.
So that, Greg can get the picture of us entering the cave.
Come on, I'll lead. Mary, you follow, and
All right.
Pop, and Calvin, you come on in. Not as dark in here as...
Well, it gets darker way in.
Oh, way in the tunnel, yeah.
Yeah. Look at that for a shiny stone here. Let me pick that up.
I wonder if Greg is still shooting. Yeah, he is. Still forward.
That's a nice stone, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly sparkles.
Yeah. I think I'll put that in my pocket. Why not? It's just a stone, right? Oh, look, there's another one, not as big. Do you want one, Pop?
Yeah, I'd like to have one.
Yeah. It's probably like mica or something, you know, that comes out of granite.
It doesn't crack like mica. It's hard.
Yeah, it is.
Harder than a rock, almost.
It really is hard
There's
stuff.
one over here, too. Here, Mary.
Oh, good, thank you.
I'll give you that one, and I found another here.
Oh, look at this one. This is a good-sized one here. A lot of these shiny rocks. I wonder what they are.
You don't suppose that we've stumbled on
what?
on a diamond mine? Well, is Pop Beloved right when he thinks they may have stumbled into a diamond mine in East Africa? Be sure and join us on Monday when we'll hear Calvin say,
The man said for us to freeze.
That's Monday in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. And hi, sports fans. This is Biff Burns in the sports room, and our special guest here today is a rookie driver who's taken the auto racing circuit by storm, Mrs. Agatha Wister of Pasadena, California. It certainly is a pleasure to have you with us, Aggie, and I hope you don't mind my calling you by your first name, which has become a legend throughout the racing fraternity.
No, I don't mind in the least, Biff. When you get to be 84 years old, almost everything about you is right on the verge of becoming a legend anyway.
And, of course, at your advanced age, that's made you one of the sports world's greatest living sagas. Aggie, we hear through the old grapevine that you're now planning an assault on the land speed record at Bonneville, and yet you just began racing a few months ago. What's the inside scoop on that?
Well, actually, Biff, I began my racing career by more or less by mistake. I'd been creeping around Pasadena for years in a 1915 Detroit Electric, and whenever I went out on the freeway, the cops were always stopping me for obstructing traffic. So, a few months ago, when I heard sirens behind me, I pulled over expecting a ticket for the usual reason.
And the old crystal ball tells us that incident was the big turning point, Aggie, but it doesn't tell us why.
Well, it was the big turning point because the cop hadn't nailed me for obstructing traffic. In fact, he told me I'd been clocked on radar at 228 miles an hour in a 55-mile zone.
228 miles an hour in a 1915 Electric?
Yes, of course, I was surprised as all get out, even though it did seem like I'd been whizzing through traffic when I never did before. And then I realized what had happened. See, I'd left the battery charger hooked up to my car longer than usual, and somehow, I guess it made the whole mechanism just go completely haywire.
Well, the old crystal ball here in the sports room tells us.
Well, the old judge in the courtroom told me I was a downright menace, and that if I planned to drive that fast, I'd have to do it on a racetrack.
Well, you heeded the judge's warning, I guess, and a great new career was born.
Well, that's what I was going to say, but I wasn't going to sound quite so much like you said it. For one thing, it hasn't been as easy as you might think. At first, I just thought the longer I left the battery charger on, the more speed I would get out of the crate. So I charged the batteries for 2 solid weeks, and the whole car blew up.
Well, what did you do then? That left you without a mount for your attack on the land speed record at Bonneville.
It also left me without any semblance of a garage and without most of my house. I mean, when that baby blew, she really blew. Fortunately, I located another old Electric, so I've been able to continue with my work, even though I'm still living in a pile of rubble that looks quite a bit like a bomb crater.
Well, we want to wish you a lot of luck on your assault on Bonneville, and thank you, Agatha Wister, for being here in the sports room today.
Well, hi, and welcome to Showbiz Corner. Today, an interview with a sick comic, a ventriloquist. Let's say hello to Eddie Ha-Ha Bostwick and his dummy, Eric.
Hi, Ray.
Eric is a very unusual-looking dummy, Eddie. Is there a reason for that?
You mean the horn-rimmed glasses?
Well, that's part of it. And there's the receding hairline, the shadows under his eyes. Well, you know, he looks altogether jaded.
Yeah, well, I get lots of humor out of him with wry comments. Comedy hits much harder when a person isn't expecting it, you know.
Where did you and Eric last work, Eddie?
Well, we appeared at a health club last week.
That's an unusual place for a ventriloquist to appear, isn't it?
Well, after we did our act, the people around the health club felt a lot better.
They liked it, did they?
Well, nobody turned a hose on us, if that's what you mean. But we're not going back there. The atmosphere is too turgid.
Now, you're known, or what is known as a sick comic. Would you, for those listening, would you explain to our listeners just what that term means?
Well, it's hard to define. I'd say a sick comic is an artist who doesn't let humor stand in his way when he's appearing at a nightclub.
I guess you guys think it's more important to make an audience think, not laugh, right?
Yeah, I got a laugh last week, and it shook me.
Can we hear about it, Ed?
Well, you see here where Eric's leg is a little bent?
Yeah.
It happened when he dropped off my knee about a month ago. Anyhow, about this laugh I got. While I was on stage, a guy from the audience hollered up, "Hey, you dummy's got a broken leg."
And the laugh you got stems from your response to that observation?
That's right. I shouted back, "I know he's got a broken leg. After the show, I'm going to take his arm off and use it as a splint."
And that was a swell comeback.
Yeah. There was a man at the front table who laughed so hard, surgery was required on his stomach.
Eddie, can you give our listeners a little sample of your comedy? Nothing much. Don't give your whole act away, just maybe the opening.
The atmosphere here isn't oppressive enough, really.
Well, we shut all the doors and windows as soon as we heard you were coming,
I thought I felt a breeze like fresh air.
No. Will you do your regular opening, Eddie, please?
Well, my opening remarks, of course, addressed to Eric here, and they're as follows. Say, Eric, do you know why the lights dim every night down in Washington, D.C.?
No, why?
They dim because someone down there keeps switching on his tape recorder.
Uh-huh.
Then I get into the meat of the thing with the tape recorder. What a surprise it can be if people operate it in the bathtub with wet hands and they turn on the switch.
Okay. Well, thank you for being with us, Eddie Ha-Ha Bostwick, and thank you too, Eric.
Okay.
And I'd like to express my gratitude to your manager, Florence Nightingale, making it possible for you to be here with us at the Bob and Ray Show today. Thank you.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the footlights and of their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. On Friday, we left Mary, Harry, Greg, and Pop as they began exploring what appeared to be an abandoned mine, while Greg Marlowe filmed their activity. Now, a bit later, Greg stops the camera and calls into the cave to our friends.
Can you hear me in there? Hello? This is Greg Marlowe,
Over here, Greg.
Broadway producer.
This is Harry Backstage, Broadway star, beloved idol of a million other women.
Can you hear me in there?
Yes, we're over here, Greg.
I can't see you. It's pitch dark in there.
Wait a minute, I'll strike a match. I don't have one, Pop. Do you have a match? No, I don't smoke, Harry. You know that.
Don't look at me. I haven't smoked for 10 years. 10 or 12 years.
Do you have any? No, you wouldn't have any.
No, I don't have any matches.
We'll have to talk you over here, Greg. We'll keep talking. You just follow the sound of our voices.
I'm filming it. I have the camera open wide up. F2.
Do you hear bats over here?
What did you say?
Bats. I hear bats fluttering their wings.
Oh, if they ever get in your hair, it's something terrible. Oh, I can't stand bats. Are you sure they're bats?
Well, they sure sound like that.
I don't hear anything. But then again, my ears aren't all that good.
Where are you, Greg?
What?
Where are
I'm
you?
at the mouth of this cave.
Well, just walk straight ahead.
All right.
We're just a few feet inside. It's pitch dark in here.
Okay. I can't see you.
I got an idea, Harry. Let me hold this handful of sparkling stones up to that trickle of light coming through from the outside. Then it'll reflect and show him where we are. Good idea, Pop.
Well, why don't we'll just keep talking and follow the sound of the voices.
You see the reflection of these shiny stones in my hand, Mr. Marlowe?
No, I don't see anything.
Guess that won't work then.
Can't see a thing.
I can hear your footsteps, Greg. At least I think they're yours.
Why did you go in so far? I said just go into the cave. I didn't mean for you to... How far in do you suppose you are?
Oh, maybe 50 feet. We kept picking up these sparkling stones, and, well, we just lost all track of where we were walking. Mary, you with us?
Yes, but I think Greg has gone past us.
How could he go by it?
See you.
Over here, Mr. Marlowe.
I'm looking.
Oh.
Still walking. I'm way beyond 50 feet now.
Yes, well, we're not 50 feet in, I don't think, Greg. Maybe 30.
Hello?
Greg,
Hello?
I don't think he can hear us anymore.
Hello?
Mr. Marlowe.
Hello?
Oh, Mr. Marlowe.
Where are you folks?
Up here, Greg.
Hello?
Sounds like he's gone down a ramp or something.
I'm afraid he's really lost.
I'm afraid he is, too. You know what we've got to do is go outside, get some sort of light, flashlight or matches or something, and come back in and find him.
Oh, I just hope he's all right. Poor Mr. Marlowe.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Marlowe, we're here.
Hello? I'm lost.
Hey, you know something, Harry? What?
I'm lost.
I can't see that opening outside anymore.
What?
We must have turned the corner.
We're all lost. We're all lost.
And so it appears that not only Greg Marlowe, but Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin are lost inside the cage. You want to join us tomorrow when we'll hear Calvin say,
What I wouldn't give for a turkey sandwich right now.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble What? Word Carr speaking.
Come in, please. Wally Ballou.
Lee Ballou, winner of 55 international awards and now in his 26th year of radio broadcasting, speaking from Madison Square Garden, and spread out before me is a panorama of some 350 regional winners competing to see who could best beat the most eggs in a 1-hour period.
1 minute to go. 1 minute.
As you probably heard, this hour-long contest is entering its final minute. These contestants are all people interested in keeping a grand old tradition alive. The electric mixer has virtually eliminated the need for beating eggs by hand, but these folks are craftsmen who want to do it the good
30
old-fashioned way.
seconds to go.
30 seconds, down to the last 30 seconds now, and such feverish activity you've never seen, mostly on the part of these women who learned to beat eggs by hand and have kept the skill alive. We're moving now toward the rostrum where we hope to interview the winner and when it's all over. And there it is. The end of a grueling hour of egg beating for this dog-tired group of very game, very able contestants.
With a corrected total of 177.43 eggs for the hour is Mrs. Schwanda Hetherington, the West Virginia State champion from Parkersburg.
Well, there you have it. A new national champion is crowned. Mrs. Hetherington is making her way down victory lane toward the podium. We're trying to reach her now through this hysterical mob of humanity. Excuse me. This is Wally Ballou trying to get through. Pardon me. Wally Ballou, winner of 55 international awards, coming through. Mrs. Hetherington, would you step over here to our microphone, please?
Well, I don't know whether I can talk or not. I'm so out of breath. You beat eggs for a solid hour, and you know you've been to the races.
Well, I heard the announcer say that you beat 177 of them. That's a new tournament record, isn't it?
It's a tournament record and also a new American record. Of course, I had hoped to crack the world's record of 193 held by some Russian girl, but I didn't make it.
Well, I think you must realize that the Russians take their best egg beaters and free them all from all responsibility so they can keep in shape for the big tournament.
Yes, I competed against some of the Iron Curtain representatives at the World Meet in Antwerp last year, and you could tell right away that they weren't amateurs. They even used bigger spoons.
And, of course, that adds all the more glitter to your own crown, Miss Hetherington. How's it feel to be the national egg-beating champion?
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm still stunned, but I'm thrilled to pieces.
Think you'll be entering the interzone finals against Ceylon next month?
I really don't know. Right now, I feel like I just want to go back to Parkersburg and sleep for about a week.
Well, it'll be well-deserved rest, Mrs. Hetherington. Congratulations to you again. This is Wally Ballou at the Garden, winner of 55 international broadcasting awards and several Diction awards on their own merit, returning you
my own way to the Bob and Ray Show, already in
And now, the United States Post Office, producer and distributor of stamps, invites you to ride with the men of Squad Car 119.
My name's Sam Finch. Me and my partner, Ralph R. Kruger Jr., we're the unsung heroes of the police department. We ride a prowl car at night, ready to handle any assignment that may come our way in a teeming city of 6 million. One night last week, the skipper got word that racketeer Lucky Faber was trying to sneak out of L.A. using the back roads in the valley. All of the cars from Central Division were assigned to set up roadblocks in the area. We just reached our assignment when my partner, Ralph R. Kruger Jr., turned to me and said,
You mind if I turn on the dome light, Sam? It's too dark to do the crossword puzzle in here without it.
Okay, go ahead. Turn it on.
I won't turn it on if it bothers you, Sam.
No, it doesn't bother me. Go ahead.
It bothers some people.
I think I see headlights coming down the road. You want to question this one, buddy?
Sure, you sit tight, Sam.
What's the beef, Mac? I'm in a hurry.
Just a routine investigation, sir. It's pretty hard to see here. What color's your car?
Blue and tan. What about it?
Hey, Sam, look at the dope sheet. What color does it give for Faber's car?
Sea mist and golden Sahara.
Well, I guess you're in the clear there. Could I see your driver's license?
I'm in the clear there, too, pal. I ain't got one.
Okay. Well, anything else you'd like to talk about?
Just get that junk out of the road and be quick about it.
You bet. Thanks for your cooperation, and good night.
Wrong guy, huh?
Yeah, nice fellow, though. You'd like him.
Sounded reasonable enough, likable.
Calling car 119, car 119. You can return to the office. Lucky Faber has been picked up by the men of Squad Car 11. He's been identified, booked, and brought to trial. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And while we're waiting for the results of today's exciting case, just a reminder from your United States Post Office. Friends, when you're sealing a letter, please remove your tongue from between the envelope and the flap before you mail it. Delivery will be faster, postage will be less, if you don't accompany the letter to its destination.
Lucky Faber was convicted on one count of trying to leave Los Angeles by a back road. Trying to leave Los Angeles by a back road is punishable by a term of life imprisonment in the state penitentiary.
And so, once again, right wins out over might, thanks to the unsung heroes of the police force, the men who ride the squad cars at night. Chet, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
It's going to be an exciting episode today, I hear.
Well, it's the typical Friday cliffhanger episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a patented thing that we soap opera writers work on.
Right.
Got to build up for that Friday and then have them all come back on Monday. That's the secret.
Sure thing. Well, Webley's over there to play the part of Calvin Hood. Oh, no, he's here. Going to play it twice, I was going to say.
I hope so.
Next, Mary Backstage, Noble Wife, the story of America's favorite family of the Footlights and their fight for security and happiness against the concrete heart of Broadway. In an abandoned mine shaft near their base camp in East Africa's Transvaal, Mary, Harry, Pop, and Calvin were just about to be joined by Greg Marlowe when he himself apparently became lost. Now, as they call to Greg in the inky blackness of the mine, we hear...
Can you hear me?
Wait a minute. Yes, Greg, I can hear you.
I'm lost.
Well, instead of you trying to find us, we'll try to find you. Keep talking, Greg.
Can you hear me?
Come on, Pop. Right. Calvin, come on. Mary.
I don't think he can hear us.
That's strange. We can
You
hear...
hear me?
Yes, Greg, we can hear you perfectly.
Oh, good. I can hear you now.
Oh,
Where are you?
now we're getting through to him. He can hear us. We're here in the mine.
Well, so am I, but I'm lost.
Keep talking, Mr. Barlow. We'll try to find our way to you. Can you see the opening to the mine?
No.
That's not so good. That would be a big help if he still had the opening in sight.
Such achy blackness in here, as
That
word
damn.
said.
Begin to feel it in my bones now.
Yes, I do too. Mary, you with us?
Oh, yes.
Let's
I'm
stay
right
together.
here. I'm having a good time, actually, for all the fearfulness that's going on.
Are your eyes getting accustomed to this inky blackness?
Yeah, just like in the movie house. You know,
Yeah.
you go in first, you can't see a thing. Now I can see everything.
I
I
can
can see
see
the end of the cave way up
Straight
there.
shapes. You can. Whereabouts?
Yes. See, right up there?
Yeah, that's it. Over
Oh,
there.
yeah, right.
Yes, I see it myself,
Oh,
too.
you've got
beginning to
good eyesight, Barry.
take shape.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to throw away these sparkling stones I picked up.
Everyone in my family always had good eyesight.
Yeah, I'm going to throw
Always
mine
had
away,
wonderful
too.
eyesight. We used to always say how Grandpa, he could see everything. He could see the grass grow, he used to say.
No sense carrying sparkling stones around in your pocket. People look at you like you're some kind of a nut.
My grandmother never wore eyeglasses. She lived into the 90s. Never needed them to read.
That certainly is the opening up there. I think I'll throw my sparkling stones away, too. It's no need to take those back to camp with us.
What are you going to throw them away for? I have a nagging suspicion that they're diamonds.
Diamonds? Diamonds?
Diamonds?
You mean that, Calvin?
Why not? We're in Africa. Don't diamonds come from Africa?
Yes, I guess they do get them here.
Sure.
I gotta pick mine up and take them back to camp, just in case.
I'm still
Yeah,
lost.
guess I will, too. We're coming toward you, Greg. Keep talking.
I'm very lost now.
Oh. Was that you, Greg?
What?
Was that you tripping over something?
I'm lost.
Yes, I know. Did you just trip? We heard somebody fall down in here.
Oh, I tripped, yes. Over a big stone that sparkled.
I was the one that fell down. Help me up, Harry. Oh, yeah, take my hand. Better brush myself off.
I had an uncle, my drinking uncle, who had perfect eyesight. They say that he could hit a curveball.
If these are diamonds, we could
could
very well
see.
be rich, wealthy.
He could see a ball curve, he said. And that's pretty exciting when you think of it, a man that age hitting a ball all over the ballpark.
Right, I'm going to hang on to these stones just in case they are diamonds.
Hey!
Oh,
Hey.
hello, Greg.
Oh, I'm back with you, Pete.
You stumble over a big shiny stone, you say?
Yeah.
We'll have to come back here
They're
with Mike's.
diamonds, I think, Mr. Marlowe.
We think they might be diamonds.
You think they might be diamonds?
That's right, Greg. They sparkled when we first came in here, because
Well, there's no need for us to make a TV show. This is our fortune right here. Maybe we've discovered our own private diamond mine.
maybe you're right. Maybe we'll be wealthy beyond all dreams.
Well, let's start out anyway. Follow me. I've got great eyesight, Mr. Marlowe. Follow me.
Keep talking, Mary. What's that? Oh, that must be Henry the cook out shooting our dinner again.
Hey!
What?
The reverberation has caused an avalanche.
The mine is caving in. And so our friends find that the mine is caving in around them. Will they be able to escape? Sure, and join us tomorrow when we'll hear Mary say,
He could see a ball curve, he said.
that's tomorrow in the next exciting episode of Mary Backstage Noble Wife. Word Carr speaking. And here they come, the honor guard closing the door. Here in Studio 2.
Might point out, down through the years, the Bob and Ray uniformed guard have never asked for nor received Christmas leave.
Our shows this week were produced by Bob Tiley and Jerry Strobridge. Our engineering force, Herb Squire, Al Schaefer, Jim Good, Al April, and Joe Janice. And our thanks to Keith Critchlow for his messages brought in frequently.
Okay, that's it. Have a good weekend, everybody. And we'll see you on Monday. Until then, this is Ray Goulding reminding you to write if you get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumbs.
Who's king? Hot keys on old well. Let's go for the keys. But
Goodbye, goodbye. I wish you all a last goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. I wish you all a last goodbye.
And this is WOR New York, an RKO General Station.